Little Birdie TV, as always, brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. Now it's Friday morning. That means we've got all hands on deck. We're going to bring on Andrew Parkinson a little bit later, but first we start with old mate Benyam Kidane. BK, my brother, what's happening?
I'm doing good, my man. How you living?
I'm doing good, man. We've got a lot to talk about, BK. Let's just jump straight into it, and we're going to start out with that. It was pegged as a big blockbuster. I hate using that term, blockbuster, but it was meant to be a huge game there between the two championship contenders, I guess, the Phoenix Suns, the Boston Celtics. Mate, that was a one-way contest yesterday. The Boston Celtics absolutely dominated the Suns, running away with a 125-98 point victory. Now, the Celtics actually got a well-rounded performance because, they got 25 points from Tatum, 25 points from Jaylen Brown. It wasn't like, one particular guy exploded. Chris Paul was back for the Suns. He had a pretty poor game. I think he had 4-4-4 in just over 20 minutes of court time. BK, what did you see from that one yesterday?
Hey, man, this is your favorite type of blockbuster, an early December blockbuster. But you're right. I came in thinking this was going to be a pretty close game. It was going to be, maybe is this a finals preview? This was a freight train preview from the Celtics. They were up by 45 at one point against a very good Suns team. It was incredible. And Boston, they've been on a roll of late. Their only loss, prior to that in the last sort of 8 games came against the Heat. And they really just kind of showed there's levels at the moment. The Celtics are streets ahead right now. And as you said, it wasn't just Tatum and Brown. I know they combined for 50, but Blake Griffin coming into the starting lineup, nearly finishing with a double-double. Malcolm Brogdon coming off the bench. And that's kind of been the difference for the Celtics this year. We know their depth was good last year, but the depth this year is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they've got the clear best record in the NBA. They're actually 3 games ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks now, so they've got a nice little cushion there. But again, just to go back to your point, of the point that I keep making, it is early December, right? So this game, in the long run, not going to really matter. It was an impressive win, yes. Are the Celtics the best team in the East and probably the league right now? Yes. But they need to be the best team in April, May, and June. So, look, I'm still not convinced by the Suns, and I don't know how much this is going to hurt their confidence or anything like that, because they know they've got another 50, 60 games to go. But look, it was impressive, but let's not read too much into it is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we can agree on that. I still think the Suns are a very good team. They're probably going to finish with at least the best or second best record in the Western Conference. I don't think they're tripping too much about a December blowout. They'll be okay.
Yeah, they'll be all right. All right, let's move on to another Western Conference team now, BK, and that is the Los Angeles Clippers. And man, I just don't know what's going on with the Clippers, BK. They've gotten Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back. They got their 2 stars back. Leonard missed 6 games with the sprained ankle. PG missed 7 games with hamstring issues. Kawhi came back, even hit a game winner against the Charlotte Hornets the other day. So, I think he finished the game with 16 points, including this one here. First of all, I've got like a 2-part sort of question for you, BK. One, how does the return of these two change the dynamic of the Clippers? And then the second part of that question is, are we actually going to see these guys on the floor for prolonged periods of time? Because if you saw even in yesterday's game, like they played, but they didn't quite play when it really mattered.
Hey, Ty Lue's got the random starting lineup generator on lock. It's a new starting lineup every night for the Clippers, which really does make it hard to get a read on them. But as you mentioned, it was a strange one in overtime against the Magic. Both these guys, didn't play really the overtime period until like the last sort of, I think, 90 seconds for Kawhi, and then maybe like the last, I think 15 or 20 for Paul George. But in terms of consistency, it's a hard one to wrap your head around with the Clippers. We know they're struggling with injuries, and they have been for quite some time. But it's kind of getting, we're at that quarter-way mark of the season now. Is this Clippers team going to just be one of those, let's just cruise through the regular season, get into the playoffs, and we are confident enough in our talent that we can take on anyone on anyone's floor? Because that's kind of what it seems like early in the season.
Yeah, look, if that's the sort of approach they're going with, you know, I got to refer back to that meme that you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
I can't just turn it on like that.
They can't just turn it on like that. And as we've seen, you know, like health is the biggest thing surrounding the Los Angeles Clippers. And when we talk health, we're obviously talking Kawhi more so than anybody else. I know PG's had his issues and other guys as well, but it's usually Kawhi. They haven't been able to have him healthy, you know, and that's been the biggest issue. Even if you bring him back now, I mean, and play consistently, I just don't know if they've got that chemistry and that gelling within the team to be able to just switch it on when the playoffs start.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the Clippers because, you know, they've been terrific defensively this season, regardless of who's on the floor. I think they have the 5th ranked defense in the league, but it's on the other side of the floor. They've got the 28th best offense. So, like, they are not great at putting the ball in the hole. And you can attribute that to them obviously not having their star guys out there the whole time. But I will give them credit because other guys have stepped up at different points in the season, whether it be a Norm Powell, Zubac bringing in 29 rebounds. You know, John Wall in the flashes that we've seen him, he's been really good. So it's tough because on paper, I think they can do this. I think if they're all healthy and they say they finish, you know, with the 6th seed and they're all ready to go, they could probably beat anybody. But it's about finding that rhythm and catching that momentum, you know, before the season's out. That'll be the true indicator of sort of what this Clippers team is, and they still have every chance to do that. They're naturally, you know, being cautious with Kawhi Leonard given his injury history, but yeah, it's a tough one because we're starting to see all these other teams take shape, and with the Clippers, I still have no idea what's going on.
Listen, a lot of people around the league are probably echoing those sentiments. You know, again, there's still plenty of time for them to get that sort of consistency going, but I don't know. I've just seen too much inconsistency from, you know, Kawhi Leonard as far as being able to play over the last few seasons. Not just, you know, his time with the Clippers. You go back to Toronto and obviously with the San Antonio Spurs, it's been an issue throughout his career. We'll have to wait to see how that one plays out, BK. All right, let's move on and let's talk about an Aussie guy now that probably is going to get to the bag next season and moving forward, and that is Josh Green out in Dallas. Now, he's in season 3, year 3 for him, and he's gotten better each year. BK, you and I both spoke at the start of the season. We both said that we felt like he was going to have a good year this year under Jason Kidd, being given more opportunities to play than he was under previous Dallas coach Rick Carlisle. Jason Kidd came in, obviously a guard himself during his playing days. And Josh Green's developing at a nice rate now. Jalen Brunson got a $100 million contract from the New York Knicks based off, I guess, his development under Jason Kidd. And now Jason Kidd also thinks that Josh Green is next in line for a big payday. Let's have a listen to what he had to say.
Last thing they remember is he was guarded by the 5s. Well, that's so far from the truth. The truth is the kid is really good, and he continues to keep working, he's going to make a lot of money. So that's not my fault. But I didn't lie to you. He got paid. Josh is going to get paid a lot of money. I'm telling you here today. If he continues to work and help with the team, the kid has all the talents to be a superstar. He just has to play. So to answer your question, I answered it truthfully last year. Now you ask me at the end of this season, then maybe it changes. And it's all right that the answer changes, right? I think sometimes we get confused. You know, the answer today is that he was better last year because he didn't play. This year, the hard work, I'll answer that question at the end of the year, and I'll probably tell you he's going to make a lot of money. Hopefully he doesn't leave.
Yeah, for the Mavericks' sake, hopefully he doesn't leave. Now, that's pretty high praise there from Jason Kidd. I just want to touch on this real quick, BK, before I throw it to you. He said that, you know, he's going to be a superstar and he's going to get the bag if he plays. And I'm thinking, like, Jason Kidd, you're the coach, man. You decide whether he plays or not.
Hey, green by name, green by nature. Get that bag, kid. And shout out to Jason Kidd as well, because isn't that just exactly what you want to hear from a head coach? You know, from a player's perspective, like, obviously, you know, we've seen the improvement in Josh Green's game. You know, in his first, you know, couple seasons, the court time really was the issue. He just didn't play a lot. He's up to 20 minutes a night now on this Mavericks team. And, you know, Jason Kidd's right. He's eligible for an extension next off season. Will then become an a restricted free agent in 2024. And you kind of look around the league and what that kind of 3-and-D athletic wing is worth. That's $100 million. That's the Mikal Bridges trajectory.
Yeah, 100 million. I mean, Jalen Brunson got 100 million, and I think Jalen Brunson is clearly a better player than Josh Green. Do you think they're going to give him that 100 million based, I guess, on future potential?
I think it'd have to be that consistent improvement from what we're seeing now all the way through the next sort of season or two. Can he make a difference in the playoffs? That's kind of the big thing for Josh Green, but he's still a couple of years away, probably from that. But yeah, it's the signs are encouraging for Josh Green, and mainly because the shooting has come this season. Yeah. He's up to 44% from three, up from 36%. So now when you add that reliable catch and shoot option, because he already had that energy in the defense and the transition game, but his game's starting to become a lot more well-rounded now, and that's when the paychecks come.
Yeah, well, listen, hopefully for Josh, man, he gets that big bag. And like you said, if he continues to develop, it's going to be well-earned. All right, BK, we're going to catch you again on Monday morning. Have a great weekend, my man.
Appreciate you, my brother.
All right, it's time to bring on our resident betting expert, the Magic Man himself, Mr. Andrew Parkinson. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. We're going to have to pick up our game. We didn't have a great tipping day on Wednesday. Just to remind you, you're on a 6-pick losing streak. Okay, and I know it's your show, so I don't want to pick on you too much, but you got to lift your game a little bit, mate. You got to lift your game. I know I'm the betting expert, but you've learned a few things over the last year.
Look, I've fallen from Mr. 500 to Mr. 380 or something like that. I don't know if that's a thing, but we're going to have to make it a thing. But I'm definitely going to have to get back up above 500, Parky. Just the 3 games on today that we're going to take a look at. We're going to start off here with the first one, and that is the Miami Heat and the Los Angeles Clippers. This one's a tricky one, Parky. The Heat are favorites at $1.42. The Clippers come in here at $2.84. The line's at -6. Totals at 212.5. Live on ESPN. Now, I say tricky one because I saw the injury report this morning for the Miami Heat, and it's pretty much the whole damn team is on there. Now, I saw Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, Duncan Robinson listed as day-to-day. Victor Oladipo, Max Strus are listed as probable. Jimmy Butler and Dwayne Dedmon are both questionable. Kyle Lowry is out, as is Gabe Vincent. The Clippers having some, I guess, injury and resting players concerns of their own. John Wall, Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard listed as day-to-day. And you told me just before we went to air, Parky, that Kawhi is not playing in this one as well, along with Norman Powell.
And sorry to interrupt you there. Yep, I got a bit excited. But yeah, Powell is out as well. So this game's a bit all over the shop. So it's hard to get a read on the line here. It's and the Clippers lost yesterday in overtime to the Magic of all teams. So they're not exactly traveling that great. So yeah, we sort of learned our lesson from that Lakers-Cavs game. When was it? On Wednesday, when we were looking at our picks and we weren't sure of AD and who's going to play and LeBron, and there was a few outs. So yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one, just to cut a long story short there. But what I do really like is the over in this one. Even though the Clippers are the lowest scoring team in the league, a few of their last games have definitely gone over. And in the last 6 games between these two teams, between the Clippers and Heat, the total has gone over. So over 212.5 for me in this one.
Parky, look, I'm staying away from that total because you just don't know with the Clippers. Like you said, they're the lowest scoring team in the league. But then again, they have nights where they can put numbers up on the board. It's just the uncertainty surrounding all these players on both sides, just making this one really, really hard to pick. But I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm staying away from the total, but I'm going to say the Clippers win this one just based off the strength that the Heat seemingly have so many guys unavailable. I'm going to go for a Clippers win, and it's going to be a single digits win.
That's a brave call. Second game of a back-to-back with this team. But the Clippers are deep. So, look, I don't mind that pick at all. But good on you for going out on a limb.
Listen, I've got to try and get my averages back.
I'll give you, how about this? I'll give you double points for this one because you're saying the Clippers are going to win. So, and they're getting 6 points. So I'll give you double a double win on this one. How's
Yeah,
that one?
but it's a really, really hard game to call, unfortunately, just because of all those potential absences. All right, next game.
But it's on ESPN. All of Australia is going to be watching it, so we're going to have a little bit of money on it.
Yeah,
so get on your TopSport account and put some dollars on. Makes it more interesting.
Absolutely. All right, next game we're going to take a look at here is the battle of the bottom of the Western Conference. The Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs. Spurs $1.92. Houston Rockets $1.87. The line's at 1.5. Total is at 230. These are the two teams with the worst records in the Western Conference. Rockets at 7-17. Spurs 6-18. They've lost 11 in a row. Sorry, I was about to say 12. They've lost 11 in a row. Really staking their claim in the Wemby Tankathon Stakes. They're 3-10 at home, and Houston is 3-12 on the road. Parky, what are you seeing from this one here?
This is a bit of a game, throw up a brick for Vic.
I like that.
That's another one you can. These two teams are front runners to get Vic. And the reason I'm calling him Vic is because I struggle with his last name. But no, as far as this game goes, look, the stat that really sticks out for me is that the Spurs haven't covered the line in their last 9 games. So I'm going to say they're not going to cover the spread in this 10th game. The spread's only they're getting 1.5 points, which means they can lose by 1 point and you still win your bet. But no, I'm all about the Rockets in this one. And the Rockets have been playing pretty decent. The young fellas they have there, they're going not too bad. So even though this is in San Antonio, my pick for this one is the Rockets to cover that small spread.
I should mention as well, Parky, for the Spurs, Josh Richardson is probable, Jakob Poeltl and Jeremy Sochan, I always struggle with that one there, are both out for the Spurs. For the Rockets, Kevin Porter Jr. is day-to-day and Josh Christopher is questionable. But I'm with you. I'm leaning towards the Rockets. I'm going to stay away from the total, but I'm leaning towards the Rockets to cover the spread.
Yeah, I wasn't sure on Porter Jr. That's a big out if he is questionable. So let's just cross our fingers and hope he's all right. But no, I'm staying away from the over in that one too, Nick. I think in the last 4 games between these two teams, it has gone over, but this total is it's up around the 230 mark. So yeah, I would lean towards the over in this game, but my official pick in this one is the Rockets minus 1.5.
All right, we both agree on that one there. Last game we're going to take a look at, as there is only 3 games on the schedule today, is the Denver Nuggets and the Portland Trail Blazers. Nuggets are going into this one favorites at $1.85. Portland Trail Blazers $1.97. The line's at 1. The total's at 227.5. That one's going to be live on NBA League Pass later this afternoon. Now, the Nuggets have lost 3 in a row now. They're just half a game ahead of 5th placed Sacramento Kings. The Blazers are riding a 2-game winning streak. The Blazers are just 5-5 at home, and Denver is 8-7 on the road. Michael Porter Jr. is out. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is probable. No GP2 for the Blazers, and Josh Hart, Keon Johnson, and Drew Eubanks are all probable. Parky, how does it affect the betting?
Yes, well, this game's a very tight betting game. As far as this spread goes, and the Trailblazers, are a decent team at home, but it's hard to get a read on it. Look, gun to my head, I'd say Nuggets. So I'm a fan. I'm a fan of a bit more of a fan of the Nuggets than the Trailblazers, but I'm going to stay away from that one. And we do find ourselves sort of around this time of year, I guess, a lot of games in the NBA where there are lots of questionables, lots of day-to-days. And it is tough sometimes to get read on teams, and that's why, as punters, we sometimes look at the totals, and I really like the over in this total as well. And the money's been coming for the total. They've pushed this total out from 226 out to 228, and it's settled at about 227.5. But I still like the over in that. In the last 7 games between these two teams, 6 of their last 7 games have gone over. So yeah, I like the over in this one, and there was a lot of games yesterday in the program in the NBA that went over, and it seems to be the trend in the NBA. It's a bit different to the NFL. Top Rope's doing great with his picks on the under in the NFL, but over here in the NBA, it's all about the over.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there was a lot of high-scoring games yesterday. I'm going with the over in this one as well, Parky. I'm taking the Nuggets to win this one. It'll be a single digits win, 7 to 10 points, 7 to 9 points, I should say. Sorry.
Yep. No, that's a good call. Like I said earlier, I would lean towards the Nuggets in this, but I'm just a little bit gun shy with all these outs and questionables and day-to-days. So it's but no, I like that pick. But so take the Nuggets and the over.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's going to do it from us today, Parky. Thank you very much. We're going to catch you again on Monday morning. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you too. I'll see you Monday.
All right, guys, that's been another episode of The Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our mates at topsport.com.au. Enjoy the basketball. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you guys Monday morning.